Batman. 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 Hey, welcome back to the final episode of Arkham Asylum. It's the credits. That's right. The credits are like their own episode and shit. Because that last episode was kind of long. I didn't want to split it up. Like, I thought when I was doing, like, at the beginning of the Joker fight, I was like, I could split this up. But I realized that once I cut that Bane fight, there was no Bane fight. Once I cut the fight with the two Titan henchmen, once I cut that up, everything will be, like, about normally timed to make this episode drop in at maybe 25 minutes? I don't know. I'll find out, I guess, because I'm just recording straight through, so I haven't edited it yet. So I don't know how long that episode's gonna come out to be. You know. So yeah, that was Arkham Asylum. I was pretty happy with that. It's a really good game. It's fucking badass. It had a lot of the things that I like in a video game about it. You get to punch a lot of Poison Ivy's flower vaginas. The Joker turns into Bane. That's something a lot of video games don't have that. And I think that should be in more video games. The Joker turning into Bane. Batman plays Smoke on the Water on the guitar, and he does like a solo. Not a lot of video games have that either. But no, really, this game seriously, it's fucking. It was really good. Here's what I like about games like this. Firstly, they're not too long. They don't overstay their welcome. Some games, every time they throw like a new gameplay aspect at you, they then feel the need to overuse it for a while. So the game just comes out to be too long. This game kind of like, it's got its build, does a couple missions where it kind of focuses on the new thing that it gave you, and then that's it. It's done. They're out of the thing, you know? And what I also like about this game, it's got the whole feature that I've always really enjoyed about games where, they've got like extra shit to do, but if you don't do the extra shit, you don't feel like you missed out on a lot of the game. Like, the reason I haven't played Skyrim yet is because I feel like if I play Skyrim, what's gonna happen is, I'm gonna get bored of it in like 30 hours, which is usually the max that I invest in a video game. I think I played, in the last year, the game that I played the most of was like Skyward Sword, and I played it maybe for 40 hours, but, usually I get bored of games after like 25 hours, so if you can't beat it in 30, I usually get pretty disappointed. But most games, like, they make so you can beat it in 30, but sometimes I feel like I missed out on, like, big parts of the games. Like, that's how I feel like when I think about Skyrim, is that some people have been like, oh yeah, there's, like, quest lines that are not the main quest line that are way cooler than any quest line in the game. So in games like this, I didn't get a bunch of Riddler trophies, but it's just collectibles, It's not like I missed any big story arcs or anything by skipping out on stuff. There's not a lot of going around and collecting shit quests. Like, the game is itself kind of a cinematic experience, but at the same time, it's got really tight gameplay, which, I can't help but compare this game to the game that comes directly after it, which, comically enough, I've already played, obviously. I've mentioned that several times before. And all I can say is that game, I'm not going to say it's better than this game, because it wouldn't be fair to this game as, like, the progression towards that game. Like, how I feel that game compares to this game is, it's just a step. The stepping stone that comes after this game, next in line. I'm, like, moving my hands while I talk as though somebody's sitting across from me talking to me, which is foolish. But yeah, I don't know, it's just kind of like, that game is a great evolution. This is a good series. Rocksteady should be very proud of themselves. I'm sure they are. They won Game of the Year with... Well, you don't win Game of the Year. You have, 6 or 7 different major sources will cite you'll win their Game of the Year award, and that's how you really call yourself. You are a Game of the Year. So that's like how Skyrim and Arkham City last year and Portal 2 could all just be like Game of the Year, which is funny. Last year, Last year, who was it that's getting a Game of the Year this year? Oh, and it's like the weakest claim for Game of the Year ever is Dead Island. Dead Island won Game of the Year from one source. I forget what the source was. It was actually like a British game magazine, which I'm not saying that gives it any less. It could have been an American game magazine, but like just to only win it from one source and then give yourself a Game of the Year edition, because obviously publishers make the Game of the Year edition themselves. It's not like there's some guy going around like, your company is allowed to make Game of the Year edition. You won the biggest dick competition or some shit like that. But yeah, Dead Island was like, we're gonna get Game of the Year edition, which is funny. Because, I mean, it's just basically the game with all the DLC for any amount of, for like $30 probably. And if they didn't do a Game of the Year edition, they probably would have done like Extra Blood Splatter edition or like the fucking Zombie Mayhem edition. It would have been the same thing, but because they got Game of the Year from one magazine, and it's like to the average person picking out a game at the store, they're looking at the shelves like some out-of-touch dad getting a game for his kid. He's going to be like, oh, Dead Island, Game of the Year. And he's like, my son doesn't have this game. And it's like, well, if it's Game of the Year and your kid, or your daughter, I don't care, just picking out a game for your kid, it's like, if your kid doesn't have the game and it won Game of the Year, and your kid's into those kinds of games, maybe there's a reason they didn't have the game or play it already. I don't know, but I digress. I was talking about how Rocksteady's career now has been really solid. They've produced, these two Batman games have both been, Game of the Year contender games. They've been big Game of the Year games, and that's pretty cool. I don't know. I'm excited today. When I'm done with this, I'm gonna edit it up, upload that shit. Gonna get back to Dead Space. I'll get some ideas for projects in the works, as always. The next project's coming up. Probably gonna be, obviously I'm gonna finish Dead Space. It can't be, Arkham Asylum came out to 35 episodes, I think, or something like that. Dead Space is probably not gonna come out to more than 35 or something. I've been really getting onto the 2-episode-a-day schedule, so maybe I'll get up to that. I was always doing 1 episode of Dead Space. It was just like, that game is kind of nerve-wracking for me. I don't know why, it just is. So, like, it's fun to play, but it's a nerve-wracking game. Like, I can't even explain, like, what makes it that way, but it is that way. It's just like fucking alien zombie in your face, watch your dick out, they're gonna suck it off, or some shit like that, and then it's just like, whoa! And I'm just like, whoa, I gotta take a break, man. Obviously, Braid will be finished here probably in a week. I made a big push, though, just to finish Arkham Asylum these last 3 days, because I was like, talking with my brother about the length of the game. He's played it before. He was like, oh, have you done this already? Have you done this already? I'm like, maybe if you watch the series, you wouldn't have. No, I'm just kidding, because I really don't care. But he's like, have you done this? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, shit, you're almost at the end of the game. So I was like, I should probably... We're looking at the cast list. Ooh, Oracle was voiced by the same person as Bruce Wayne Child. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of interesting, I guess, but I mean, that's how voice acting works. A lot of people voice a lot of people. Italian cast oh yeah, I guess there was an Italian release of this game. Kevin Conroy and all that shit in the American cast. So this is as I said before, not Mark Hamill's last appearance as the Joker, but one of his last appearances as the Joker, because he announced in before he did Arkham City, he was like, this is going to be my last appearance as the Joker ever. So now this is kind of a big thing, because me having played this game, I played one of the last major performances of my favorite Joker of all time, Mark Hamill. I'm not sure how much longer Kevin Conroy is going to last as the Batman, because I don't know, I haven't looked into it. I don't know if he does Batman in like the new The Batman series on the WB, home of One Tree Hill. Fucking drama, bad acting, drama. But anyway, You know what Kevin Conroy does do a voice in? He does the voice of, obviously it's the voice of Batman. I'm sure there's other voices he does all over the place. I looked it up the other day. We were at the bar talking about it, but Kevin Conroy does the voice of Batman in Batman Beyond, which, in terms of all like the new generation superhero series, Batman Beyond is my favorite. If you've never seen Batman Beyond, go fucking watch that shit. It's an amazing show. This is definitely the end of the game, because now it's showing the opening screens of the game. So anyways, scene. Let's watch a scene. Uh-oh. Huh? Alright, this has been Rektar. Tune in for some more Dead Space and Braid and probably Psychonauts in the future. Thank you for watching.